Well, I probably didn't sleep particularly well the night before because it does get your attention. My first thought, and it's going to seem a bit silly, was getting to the hospital on time as scheduled. Not be late.
The surgeon was a surgeon nominated by the cardiologist. I was in her hands, obviously, and she had a fabulous bedside manner. So she met you beforehand and met you after and followed up as you would expect, and told you exactly what happened and what was involved. And it was a comforting factor then that you weren't just another number being pushed through the system.
Well, all the support staff, nursing staff, theatre staff, prior to seeing the surgeon, all professional, all pleasant, easy to get along with, comforting. You couldn't be in better hands, and that for me was easy.
The anaesthetist comes up and says to me, have you ever been anaesthetised before? I said, this is the first time I've been in hospital. I said, for surgery of any kind. And I felt so panicky, righto, and I had to switch my mind off what was going to happen. He says, think of it as being, you're going in, you can have your operation, you have your actual thing done, but don't picture what we're doing, just picture how it's going to save you.
At this particular hospital, there's the volunteers who come around and say, look, I've been through this, I know what you're up for, this is what will happen. And if it happens, that's good, the way the textbook.
You've got the nursing staff and you've got the anaesthetist, and they will give you a talk, preparation talk about the service they perform, and they're controlling your being asleep while the surgery's on, so that's important.
A little bit of apprehension when you're going down, and saying, okay, well, this is it, we're going in now.
A few sedatives and drugs, and then of course they wheel you into the theatre, and it's good night, and next thing you wake up in recovery and it's all done and gone, and 6 hours or 5 hours of surgery is completed. Before you know it, you're out to it, so which is probably not a bad place to be.
The best part, I suppose, was waking up and knowing you're back in the room and you're back with it, and you got through that part.
In recovery, you're in intensive care for a few days, and when you first wake up, I wasn't sure where I was. I figured I was in a hospital, and but it was a bit of a blur. And then you gradually come around to sort of realising what's happened. Very sore because your chest has been opened and your movement is restricted. But once again, you're medicated pretty well, and the intensive care staff are probably unbelievably good.
I was actually like jumping for joy in a sense in my mind, saying it's over and done with, I don't have to go again.
So I joined the Zipper Club. You end up with a big scar. They cut through your chest bone. You have a big scar on your leg where they is the host vein to replace the arteries.
The chest plate, where you got your ribs where they actually meet together in the middle, that's the part that actually hurt it most because I could feel it. I had 2 wires still hanging out of my chest. I didn't notice about those wires till later. Someone told me, he says, you got 2 wires, I don't want you touching them or even pulling on them because they're there just in case you have a problem.
I had moments where sudden movement was painful, but I was pretty well medicated so that wasn't really an issue. They were aware that I would be in that condition. They do this sort of thing every day. And from that point of view, they were able to medicate me adequately, and the machine dials out the dose you need, and if they want to up it, you just indicate. And if they think that's medically reasonable, they'll do whatever's needed to comfort you.
But you need to fess up on a scale of 1 to 10 how you feel it is, and there's no point in fighting off and trying to be brave about it because it doesn't really tell a story to the hospital staff on how you're managing. I was able to manage the pain after a short time with just paracetamol, and now I've got to get better, recover to be discharged. So that's the next step in the program for me.
They get you up and walk as soon as you're physically able to do it, and fortunately, my legs were okay, wasn't a problem. Bending a little bit was painful, and of course any sharp turn of shoulders or looking up where you're stretching the chest was a bit awkward. But if you just took your time with what they were requesting, it was manageable.
The physio was me to get out of bed. I had a little pillow holding my chest because in case I moved in the wrong place, I had my whole legs like that. So I had to walk up and down the hall. I had to do 10 laps up and down.
There's a few little tips and tricks they give you by holding a towel on your chest. It protects any wound, but it also gives you a degree of comfort. So it was funny little things that do that. Don't be brave about I don't need it, and you're surprising how it helps you along. But also the breathing exercise was a little device that you suck and blow into to improve your lung capacity, and that was a surprise to me that was so important, but clearly evident that was so important, and you could see the results.
Then finish the hospital journey, you're out. They give you a recommended program for walking, diet, medication, blood thinners, and a few ongoing tablets to keep taking to resolve any clotting. Then you've got physiotherapy, which they recommend because you've had your chest opened.
There's discussions with you and conversation with you about what you got at home, what sort of a house, is it stairs. The expectations that I've had it now, and when I get home, I'm not going to be anywhere like I was, or what I can do, what's going to be the case. What am I up for? Am I now an invalid? And quite the contrary is the encouragement that you get.